CJ, Mr. Thongori, and your lovely children. I didn't know I was going to speak, so I don't have a written speech. I've come here to be in the crowd of those who knew and worked with Judy. I was in the family division for about 3 years in Nairobi. Judy appeared before me on a number of occasions. I can't remember a case she prosecuted, a divorce case she prosecuted to the end. She endeavored to preserve the marriage. And when I heard of her demise, what came to my mind immediately is that we have lost a pillar of the marriage institution. Judy was extremely courteous. As many have said, even when she lost in some matters, she was very, very courteous. And that is the way it should be. She was extremely courteous to the court, extremely courteous to even her opponents. And we all celebrate her life. As Justice Musinga has just said, David in the book of Psalms 90 verse 12, the NLT version says, "Teach me to realize or to recognize the brevity of life." What is the Bible telling us? That you are alive today and you could easily be dead tomorrow. So what is it that the Bible requires of us? One thing, let us all have our names in the book of life before we die. It is my sincere hope that Judy died with her name in the book of life. So John and your children and the entire family look forward to that resurrection morning when Christ comes. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Justice David Maraga. I stand before you wonderful people to convey condolences to the family of Mr. John Thongori on behalf of the judiciary. We mourn a great luminary, an advocate of human rights, an advocate of family, and an advocate of good governance and social justice. I convey condolences on behalf of the Supreme Court. Just yesterday, we were all brought to tears when we received a letter from the firm of Judy Thongori telling us that a matter which was listed before us today cannot proceed because Judy has rested. What I'm telling you is that firm of lawyers that was introduced here is a professional law firm. They are well trained, they are well organized, and we wondered, in this time of mourning, they still had the time to think about writing to the Supreme Court to inform us. That is how organized Judy was, and that is how she has trained that law firm. We celebrate you, and we thank Judy for what she has invested in that law firm. It's a law firm for the future. I also convey condolences from the entire National Council on the Administration of Justice, which Judy supported in many, many ways to make sure that in the justice sector, we are coordinated and we collaborate with each other, because at the end of the day, we require justice to be done. And she always reminded us it did matter who failed, whether it's the police who failed, the prosecution who failed, the judiciary that failed. If one of us failed, all of us had failed. The same way she believed that if there is a threat to justice anywhere, it meant that all of us were threatened. If there was injustice somewhere, justice was threatened everywhere. We are here to celebrate a profound member of the legal profession. And listening to the many stories, we can talk here for days and even weeks to talk about Judy. But I would like to say 3 things. When we poached her from the law firm of Dongo, Joroge, and Kwach to come and join FIDA, we had seen our skill, our commitment, and our hard work. And indeed, when she came to FIDA, she revolutionized, as the head of litigation, the approach we had. I was the chairperson. Honorable Harris Wahome was the vice chairperson, and the galaxy of women who stood up to be recognized as FIDA members were in the council or in the membership. We were struggling with huge numbers of clients who were coming for legal representation at FIDA. And Judy, who was focusing on public interest litigation, told us that we have to do something to educate the clients who are coming for self-representation, a model that is now being followed all over Africa and globally. So we trained our clients on self-representation, and this is the same concept we are following now in the judiciary under the social transformation through access to justice when we talk about people-centered justice. Because Judy believed until we build the agency of the clients that we represent, for them to know their rights, for them to claim their rights, for them to defend their rights, we will not get anywhere. So please let us celebrate Judy, because our legacy is going to outlive her. You have seen the galaxy of the young women that she has trained. She started that at FIDA, making sure that whoever comes to work in FIDA is properly trained on how to prepare pleadings, how to make representation, and therefore we are here to mourn a wonderful woman in the law. So for me, it is with profound sadness that I'm here to pay tribute to Judy Thongori Senior Counsel, a trailblazer whose tireless work and dedication profoundly shaped family law and advanced the rights of women, the rights of children, the rights of the elderly, and the family in Kenya. As we have been told by her husband, her legal journey began with a focus on commercial law, but faith and God's purpose for her life and a different path in store for her to shape the family law. When the family division was being started in 2006, I think Chief Justice was not convinced that we needed a whole division to start, to dedicate to family matters. But Judy, I remember arguing vehemently that if we can dedicate a specialized unit for commercial work, for land law. Where are these people coming from to go to do commercial activities and businesses? Where are they coming for to go and litigate family land matters? They are coming from family. And she managed to convince everybody in a usual, subtle, firm manner that we needed a family division dedicated to the families. Recently, when I became Chief Justice, she came also to encourage the judiciary to have specialized units to deal with sexual, gender-based violence. It is unfortunate that Judy has gone. We have 13 of them, but we are still faced with many, many cases of SGBV, including femicide. But as we bid Judy farewell, as we reflect on her legacy, the legacy that she left, and the work that she has left incomplete, is for us to make sure that this country is safe and secure for everybody. It is our business to find out why are our women, why are our girls being killed. So the entry of Judy in FIDA and in the legal profession has been a turning point both in her life and for the organization. She brought with her a sharp legal mind, always trying to find out what is the solution, what is the best solution for the matter that is before me. And no wonder we all recognized her and called her the mother of mediation. Because mediation did not start in the judiciary when it was institutionalized. Mediation started in FIDA. When clients came, we used to write a legal letter, and I'm told that legal letter really used to scare people. They would come to FIDA, and Judy would put them in a meeting and try to find out the best solution. How will children go to school? How will they eat? When they finished that journey of taking care of the welfare of the children, then they will address the matters of the division of matrimonial property. That time we did not even have the Matrimonial Property Act that we have today. It was another advocacy that Judy engaged in. She was part of our technical team, even during the constitutional review process, to ensure that all those rights of the family, the rights of women, the elderly, the marginalized, were entrenched in the Constitution. Our work went beyond advocacy to improving the lives of our families. After her remarkable tenure at FIDA Kenya, Judy transitioned to private practice, and she is undoubtedly one of the most respected family law practitioners. Before shaping the family law as it is, very few people wanted to venture into it. Our contributions to shaping the family law jurisprudence were evident recently when the Supreme Court at 12 conference that took place in November 2024, Judy participated in a panel discussions on emerging family jurisprudence from the Supreme Court of Kenya. She provided very insightful reflections on key areas requiring jurisprudential clarity, including unresolved questions surrounding the rebuttable presumption of joint ownership of matrimonial property under Section 14B of the Matrimonial Property Act and the implication of non-registration of customary marriage on divorce proceedings. Judy was always ahead of hard time. For me, I have lost a friend, I've lost a comrade, a neighbor who invited me to that relief neighborhood you have talked about when she moved there. And I liked it, but I could not afford the house in the gated community. But she helped me identify a plot and held my hand as we constructed and went through the turmoil of construction with her. You know how contractors hold you ransom. One time we were with Judy inspecting the construction, and the contractor was not doing the right thing. And when a quarrel ensued, he threw the keys to me. And he knew how vulnerable I was because I had a loan to pay, the house is not moving, and there is no end in sight. But Judy took the contractor aside, they negotiated, and came to a settlement. So Judy always solved all manner of problems. And I ended up being her neighbor. We had numerous walks in the neighborhood before my life changed drastically. More than 3 years ago, I will miss a neighbor recently when I was stranded. Judy was the first responder to my flight. She was wondering whether to go and get for me a boat. But I had already freed, and I know the pain of being a refugee from your own house. So this is the kind of a friend we have lost. In the profession, in the neighborhood, who cared about the welfare of everybody. She took up the issue of the funding to make sure that there was a one and all solution for all of us in the neighborhood. She cared for everybody. And whatever Judy touched with her hands, she gave it her all. She never left anything incomplete. I used to call her a complete finisher because whatever Judy touched, she completed it to a logical conclusion. So friends, family, this afternoon, on behalf of the judiciary, and on my own behalf and that of my family, I extend our heartfelt condolences to you, John, and to your children. We have always reminisced about the success of our families with Judy. She told me how Eric was writing a book on motor vehicles, and I made a mental note to find out whether that book has been published. Eric, you want to become a mechanic? We will cheer you to see to it the book that you started writing is completed and published, if it hasn't already been published. And it's already published. Wonderful, congratulations. And we will continue to cheer you as you endeavor to undertake your profession in motor vehicles. Wairimu, you are in our profession. I look forward to admitting you as an advocate of the High Court. Judy Thongori, Senior Counsel, was a luminary in many, many things. May her soul rest in eternal peace, and may her extraordinary legacy continue to inspire and guide all of us. She has passed a torch, she has passed a baton to us who have been left. Until we meet again, my dear friend, my sister, Judy, rest in peace, rest in power. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Martha Koome. Let's appreciate her even as she takes her seat. It's been a long morning, and it's quite an afternoon, and we're still going. As I said, you've been an amazing congregation. This is the service of an iconic lady. How else could we do it? Actually, to be honest, even this is our best way of the refined version of the service. Because if we went the way we were to go and allowed the many amazing groups represented here to speak, we would have been here even longer. So as I said, hang in there, we're doing good. You know, we're sitting with Reverend Liz and asking, how do 25 people who wrote about you and were not together say the same thing about you? Isn't that amazing and surprising? As we end this tribute section, and I hand over to Reverend Liz, I just want to conclude with something simple. The end of Philippians 4. Whatever is noble, whatever is right. You can say it with me because you know it. Whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. If anything that you have had today is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. If you heard something about Judy that made sense to you, if you saw something in her that was right, put it to practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mildred. We've come to the peak of the service. We cannot leave without sharing a word of encouragement. One of our finance managers said she knew exactly where Judy sat every Sunday, and would want to share with you a little of what Judy enjoyed, of course with the family, every Sunday when she came here. I'd want to, before we invite Reverend Kabibi, our senior minister here, leading the congregation in Karen, I'd want to share with us and invite us to give. I know you had come prepared to give, and while Rev Kabibi is coming, we will put up the giving details. There'll be M-Pesa details, and then the ushers will pass round at the same time the giving baskets. We need to say here at Nairobi Chapel, every gift you give goes to the family. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to hear the word of God, I wish to say that the first time I met Judy was in the back. We have a green room here, and that was 2001. We had begun a sermon series dubbed, that was based on the scriptures, the Bible and divorce. And Judy stood and sat on this pulpit, creating awareness and educating us. When I heard the news on Tuesday, really Wednesday morning, it was one of those she had counseled and instructed and guided during this season and her season of difficulty. So friends, allow me to invite Reverend Kabibi to share with us a word of encouragement, a word that will last beyond here. And after which he'll pray for the family, and then we will invite the chairman of the committee to give vote of thanks, after which we shall be able to say hello to the family at the back even as we go on. Reverend Kabibi.
Thank you very much, Reverend Liz. Good afternoon. It has been a very long day, but one that is worthwhile. And I believe that the reason that each one of us is gathered here is to pay our respects to this lovely, great lady who lived among us. I have the privilege over the next few minutes just to share in the form of devotion in order to just encourage each one of us who is here, and especially to the family, to John, to Eric, to Irimo. Earlier I saw Mama Judy, who was with us here in the congregation, and the family members extended. We just want to assure you that you are in our prayers. Like Reverend Liz said, that I also got to hear the word from a colleague about the passing on of our dear sister Judy. And immediately I got that news, I froze. And then I grieved. And the reason I grieved is because I knew Judy, as you say, an icon. Judy was one of our members that we got to know here at Nairobi Chapel over the last 20 years. That's when she and John came and joined this congregation. But I got to know them personally around 2011. And as you've heard at the time, that plug-in, which is an experiential program here at Nairobi Chapel that seeks to connect congregants with God, connect them with community, connect them with the church, and connect them to their destiny. That's when I got to know this couple. And we admired Judy for a number of reasons. Because we as pastors consulted Judy when it came to matters of family, especially when we started to deal with issues of couples possibly going through divorce. Our first point of call was to Judy. And I remember calling Judy at one point, seeking her wisdom and her counsel of a certain matter. And Judy would always give such wisdom with clarity, because that's who Judy was. So on behalf of Nairobi Chapel, our Bishop Oscar Moreu, who is away, on behalf of the elders, and possibly I believe some of them are here present, on behalf of the senior pastor of this church, Reverend Nick Correa, who is also on sabbatical and actually going up and down this continent, raising funds for children in what we call the Logos Scholarship, we want to pass on our heartfelt condolence to the family. You are in our prayers. You are in our prayers, and we'll continue to stand with you as a family. I have been reflecting, and as a church, because I minister at the Nairobi Chapel Karen, our theme this year has been salt and light. And I was reflecting and asking, who are the individuals that we know who are salt and light? Because Jesus spoke in Matthew 5:13 to 16, and he was talking to his disciples. And he said, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Then Jesus transitioned and said, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I believe that the life we live is a sermon. Your life is a sermon. And my inspiration today is I will speak about Judy, because I know Judy was one of us who was salt and light. And I'll try to make this very fast. And I'll say that when I talked about Judy as salt and light, as we had here, I know that Judy had found her purpose. And she lived that purpose. And I want to say that when I talk about, allow me to talk about two ingredients. First, let me talk about salt and how Judy was salt among us. And then allow me to talk about light. And I'll just give 3 points on each of this. I don't want to say too much about salt, but you do know how critical and how important salt is. In the Bible,